today. Just talk about the effort and the energy that your team displayed tonight.
Yeah, I think, as much as anything, I have great respect for their team. So forced to play at a high level competitively as much as anything. I think they compete. If you don't compete at a high level, it's hard to beat them. Thought that we didn't start out as focused as we needed to be defensively. I thought in the first quarter they got some easy stuff. We got better as the game went on defensively. And, the zone caught us for a second. We got some great looks against there. Sometimes when a team goes zone and you don't have a great possession, we had a couple good ones, we just didn't score. And then it can get in your head a little bit where you're not really disorganized or doing anything wrong, you just didn't score. I thought we handled that mentally, well. So good, as you said, just a really good win, important win for us.
Coach, at the beginning of the season, Dyson Daniels was shooting historically bad. What has been the difference, especially in this winning streak, to his approach to the game and his offensive game specifically?
I think he's just shooting. You can't make him if you don't take him. And as much as anything, everybody's got confidence in him taking that shot. So just getting space, I think, just his preparation, is getting him ready to shoot when he's not passing anything up. And if he doesn't feel comfortable shooting in a given possession, that's okay too. He can make other plays. We've seen him do that as well. So I don't want Dyson to overthink it. I think that's the biggest issue for any player. You kind of obsess about something. He's not doing that. Didn't feel that tonight. And every time you look at his plus minus, he leads our team in plus minus, whether he's shooting or not. So, like I said, I don't want to overthink it on his behalf, and I don't want him doing it either.
And similar being efficient shooting night for O, just how did he kind of get the right spacing or rotate it out to get open so that guys could find him?
Yeah, I think, I mentioned it's similar to Dyson. I think the spacing is everything. When you space early before you're opened, you just space to space, and then you're available. I thought he did a good job of that. The last time we played Boston, I think we haven't been as disciplined with the way we've spaced on the floor. We've been a foot inside the line, and two guys cutting and just not having enough awareness on that. And, I thought he was ready to shoot.
Zach was really good defensively, aggressive. And he had a tough matchup on Jalen a couple of times there. What happened on that challenge ball? I couldn't hear what the referee said, but it looked like it was perfect verticality.
Yeah, the thing about challenges is that there may be a call we don't agree with. You may think it's a bad call, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to get overturned. Usually that's the nature of the challenge. And sometimes there's something else that's going on that we don't see in the moment. So I think that call is a tough one. We try to go verticality, but sometimes someone hits you and you go down, or you go down. So I couldn't, I wasn't see the monitor, but we lost the challenge.
Do you think he's getting more respect from the referees?
I'm not worried about anything to do with Zach and respect for the referees or challenges. I'm worried about him playing like he did tonight and defending and crashing. And I'm not going to overanalyze Zach. I thought he played great.
Coach, coming off a 2-loss march and 6 games left, what's kind of the message down the stretch?
We talked to a few weeks ago about basically at 14 games, we had 2 playoff series. So what tonight was the first of the 7-game playoff series. And we treat it like that. Every game is essential. We know what we're up against. It hasn't been an easy road for us. We just want to continue to play well, and I still think to get better. All these games, tonight was a good example. Early in the game, we started trying to attack a shot blocker at the rim, and it didn't work out for us. That's got to click sooner. It did click eventually. our transition defense wasn't quite as good as it needed to be. I think we fouled a few times. So if there's things we can take from every game, you don't have time to practice them, but you can watch them on film. Sometimes a little harder at other times when you're traveling and things, but we just got to dig in and keep playing the way that the way we've been playing and execute.
When you talk about Jonathan's physicality, where did you see him in that offense?
Well, you could feel, I thought both he and Zach, that group, and Gabe's physical too. He's not as big, but those guys played hard for us. They give us great minutes. I think Jonathan will continue to get more comfortable, but he was aggressive at the right times. He forced himself on the game. Because of the way that he plays, you want him to be aggressive. And he's capable of doing that. And there's a line there that I think he's finding as far as I'm in there and I can kick it out, or I'm in there and I'm going to go to the rim. And getting the free throw line is significant for us.
Coach, talking about the 13th straight home win. Obviously, you want to win your home games. You want to be able to defend the floor. You got to be proud about the level of home court advantage that you all have been able to build as you make this playoff.
Yeah, I think everybody in the locker room has an appreciation for being at home. And when I say that, appreciation for your fans that come down. And every now and then there's a little traffic around here, as you guys know, and they're here to pull us through and you feed off that energy. And you want, there's part of you that wants to come through for them and to win those games at home. So I think that's been in our guys' minds for a while. And, again, we've been fortunate that we've put a little string together. You're not going to get all of them, but the focus has been there. And I think our team's just been playing hard. And, like I said, that's what we need to do. That just needs to be the baseline for us.
Coach, you've spoken about these two guys a lot, but can you talk about Jalen and Nikhil? They're both in the conversation for most improved this year. How have those two specifically progressed throughout the season and stepped up as there's been so much turnover?
Yeah, I think coming into the year, we felt like there's more there. And that's whether you're a younger player, they're both young, and opportunity sometimes is something that you need to raise your level to meet that. And it doesn't always happen right away. So I think both those guys, understanding and being more aggressive when our team has needed that, but then at the same time, as we've added more players, say CJ, for example, or Dyson, or JK, other guys offensively that are capable of making plays, for them to understand, time and score and situational basketball, and still maintain their aggressiveness, but also be unselfish enough to create for other people. And I think for both of them, they're valuing the importance of them creating for their teammates is a huge thing. Usually that comes later. For them, that's all happened within the span of a year. And it puts even more importance on it when you're one of the guys that the team needs to make plays. So their ability to do that, I think as the years progress, we look at a stat sheet, and what really they've started to think more about is how efficient can they be, because efficiency, that's what leads to winning. There's a lot of people that can put up, numbers in a given game. You see that all the time, but when you're efficient, and that's been something for both of them, to really understand that on a deep level in the context of the team. And I've been really impressed with their willingness to do that as much as I can.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.